So today I want to talk about something a little bit unique. I want to talk about formality. Hello dear friends, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sukanti, and I make content about ancient wisdom, history, culture, and lifestyle. And before we begin, I just want to remind you that I want this channel to be a place of reflection and peace in the midst of your day. So if you need to get more comfortable, please find a more comfortable seat, grab yourself a warm beverage maybe, and allow yourself to enter a thoughtful space where you can think about ideas that are outside the norms of daily life. So what's been on my mind lately is something that might not make much sense at first, but I want to discuss a bit about how adding formality into your life can bring more peace and joy. You might be thinking, formality, that sounds like something very rigid or harsh or unnecessary or outdated or even maybe inauthentic. And yes, I get that, because that is what the modern world has told us formality is. But what if formality is something that can protect us, something that can enhance our relationships, enhance our quality of life? And what if it is the thing that can help us align with our highest values and live a life of intention? You see, our world has become only more and more casual as the years go by. We are casual about the way we dress, the way we eat, the way we socialize, the way we work, the way we pursue our education. This world has pushed us to a culture of convenience, ease, and comfort. And while it does have its benefits, it also has many drawbacks. In a world where casual culture is king, we find ourselves missing out on opportunities for meaning and purpose, two of which are the most important opportunities of human life. The casual approach to life is a carefree one. It says, this doesn't matter so much. It's not worth putting in the effort to appear a certain way or to act within conventional norms of behavior. And maybe it also might be saying, I'm just living my authentic self, or I'm just being true to myself. The casual attitude is one that unknowingly says, I don't care. Who cares? And that is actually quite a dangerous attitude. I find it kind of sad, actually. And we see what happens over a period of time when care begins to lack in families, in relationships, in government structures, in our own health. Now, I have a theory, and my theory is this casual attitude is what's actually causing a lot of today's suffering, a lot of today's mental health issues, a lot of today's relationship issues, issues at the workplace. I believe it's also affecting people's self-esteem and their general outlook on life. Life in the past in many different cultures included a sense of formality in daily life. There was formality around mealtimes, around dress, around courtship, really any corner of life. Yet somehow, at a certain point, the West deemed this kind of formality as too restrictive. What I've been thinking about lately is that these restrictions were actually quite beneficial. When we dress well and we present ourselves well, we feel good about ourselves. When we keep our house clean and orderly and ready for guests, we feel a sense of peace and also joy. And when we treat our family members, neighbors, and colleagues with respect, and also older people with respect, it creates an atmosphere of appreciation and connection in that relationship that otherwise wouldn't be there. These kinds of social norms are eroding, and they're also simultaneously eroding those relationships. And when it comes to the heart, that's where I feel formality and its benefits really shine. So I like to use the example of the works of Jane Austen. Books and movie adaptations of Pride and Prejudice or Emma or Persuasion are extremely popular. In these books and similar period pieces, we see a sense of formality around courtship that is very traditional of the time period. And it's no accident why these period pieces, books, and film adaptations of these classic books are so attractive to modern day people. We see some of the most popular television shows the past 5 years are shows like Downton Abbey, Bridgerton, Game of Thrones, and while these are not exactly historically accurate in every way, they do symbolize a type of culture from the past that people are very drawn to. Now, going back to more kind of Jane Austen stories, what is presented there in courtship is an atmosphere of safety and innocence. And that is something that is sorely lacking in today's society and culture around dating. Relationships in Jane Austen's world are approached with great intention, great formality, great purpose. And that is such a contrast to where we are today, where young people are left with these undefined casual relationships that leave them feeling anxious, leave them feeling confused, and ultimately it really takes a hit on young people's self-esteem. When looking up the definition of casual, I saw a synonym that was listed was unceremonious. And so I actually thought that living a formal life is one that is ceremonious. Formal living is how we add ceremony and meaning into our everyday life. And humans love ceremony. There's a reason why we celebrate birthdays and graduations and weddings. The reason why ceremony is so important is because it is a container for meaning. And I would also argue that formality is a container for meaning. When we live casually, we are non-verbally telling the world, I don't care. And thus, we are missing out on the opportunity to cherish the meaning. Living intentionally means to live in alignment with our highest values. Living intentionally means to care. And I can share a personal story about how formality has shaped my life. Now, my parents raised me to be a polite person. I try to live up to that. Thank you, Mom and Dad. But I received even more education on politeness and manners when I actually lived in the ashram. And some of you might think formality and ashram, that doesn't really go together, but it actually does, at least in the type of ashram where I lived. Really, through my study of Bhakti Yoga, I imbibed a culture of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, which is a branch of devotional yoga where we worship Krishna. And anyway, this culture is thousands and thousands of years old, and there is a lot of, etiquette involved. So I learned a lot about how to respect others, how to treat others, very practically how to greet others, how to greet people who are more senior to me. I learned how to present myself properly. In the temple, in general, we would wear saris, and we would usually wear our hair back in a braid or in a bun or something like that. And we also honored meal times together. And now, an ashram isn't there it's not a finishing school. It's not meant to give you a certain type of manners. The ashram is there because it is a place of meaning. And these etiquettes, these manners, these formal things that we do help to create that atmosphere that puts the meaning in the center. So that is just my little story about how formality has impacted my life. This topic really has me thinking, how can I add more formality into my daily life so that I can make the most of every moment, so I can make the most out of my relationships, so I can make the most of my life. So that about wraps it up for my video. I thank you so much for watching, and I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below about how you add formality to your life, or really any thoughts or feedback on anything I said today. Thank you again, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.